whip, and you can be like you can work it out with the guy beforehand and be really shitty to him. Oh, can we talk about me being shitty to the waitress? Because I still defend that, and I think Taylor will have some fun hearing about this.
Oh yeah, I would like.
Can I tell the story, or would you like to? Because I feel like your version is awfully skewed, and mine will just be.
Give us the true story.
Go ahead.
All right. So we spent all this time in the woods, right? Like, and I know the chicken was there, but I didn't eat any of the chicken, realistically. I don't think I even swallowed what I ate. And there just wasn't a lot of food. And I'm used to eating a lot. And I was walking a lot. I did lose 9 pounds. I started at 183, ended up at 174. So I was hungry, really hungry, hungrier than I'd been in a long time. And I just had like an aching pain in the bottom of my stomach. And I really wanted that food. So we decided to go to Longhorn Steakhouse. And we get there and we order our food, and we it's supposed to be on the way. And she asks me, she says, well, which would you like first, your soup or your salad? And I said, whichever you can get to me the fastest. 15 minutes later, the bread's gone. The appetizer still hasn't come. All of our drinks are empty. Chiz ordered a coffee at the beginning of us getting there, like 20 minutes ago. He still doesn't even have his coffee. All of our drinks, like I said, are empty. Like we need refills. Everything's gone and nothing has come. We've ordered soups, salads, and appetizers. It's not there. And I was just coming unglued. And I go to the group. I'm like, am I being unreasonable here? I'm like, I'm fucking pissed. I was like, I want my food. And Woody's like, I give you permission to do whatever you need to do. And I'm like, I'm about to make a goddamn scene. I was like, they already stuck us with the chunky, unattractive waitress. Like,
ugh.
Yeah.
We got
right
the
away.
bottom of the barrel waitress. There were much hotter waitresses. There were 5 hotter, and the hottest one was smoking hot, just huge tits and a big like country western
Second
ass.
hottest one.
And that's what I wanted right then. I wanted to eat that steak off her big country western ass because I hadn't had sex in 5 days and I hadn't eaten anything real in 5 days, and I didn't care which I got first. And I got this fat chunky motherfucker, and she's just not showing up. She's back there eating her food or something, and I'm going to the group. I'm like, what's the deal here, right? Like Chiz, this is fucked up, right? He's like, yeah, fucked up. And even Patrick's like super polite British ass is like, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Been a while. And then Woody's like, yeah, I give you permission to do whatever you want. And I'm like, I'm about to fucking throw my drink in the fucking floor and be like, I made a mess. And while you're here, where's our shit? like I'm about to like take this glass that's like full of ice and lemon and a little water now that it's all melted and like fucking sling it in the floor and make a real mess for her to come clean up. So she has to bring us something, or at least I can communicate with her, because she's not even coming within sight. She's been in the back for like 20 minutes seemingly. So finally she came. She had her food, and I asked her.
I have this part on video if anyone would like to see or hear.
Wait, everything at once? Did she bring out the soup, the salad, and your appetizers, and the entrees all at once?
Not the entrees. The entrees came later.
The hot order. Ah, bitch. I hate that. I feel like I'm on their time then. You know?
Yeah,
like they're rushing
I feel
me
like
out.
She was just making there was a serving tray back there, and as each item came up, she was putting it on it, and then she's like, oh, 1 trip. And like, no, you owe us 4 trips in the first 20 minutes.
Can I jump
like,
in on this?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Here's the thing. The infamous Woody's terrible to wait staff incident. We got
the
there.
tone of his voice, like he's tricking you.
We got there, we ordered, and 20 minutes had gone by, and we hadn't gotten anything. Not even our drinks yet, right? And Kyle's like, it really was you being a dick, Woody, because that guy had to find someone else working there to open the beer. Which is kind of true. But there was the bartender sitting there, making eye contact with us all 20 minutes. This guy was just fucking off the reservation. On the other hand, the time that Kyle flips out, it was 15 minutes, not 20. We had all gotten our drinks. She had served us. She had served us bread and butter. I was eating.
It's mandatory. Like everybody gets bread and butter. It's not like she was slicing it up for us.
We had drinks. We had bread. We had butter. Like we were being taken care of. Not well.
You made it sound like 3 things that she did to us, and like she was like, "What do you want to drink?" And here's the bread that everybody gets.
Yeah, and I asked for 2 drinks. I got water and sweet tea.
She went above and beyond with that water for you. You're right.
Because
Mother Teresa.
because
you didn't have to bring it.
One of my new things is I don't rehydrate with sugared water. So I just sort of down the waters and then have the drink as a snack, like a treat. Anyway, so we had like sort of been taken care of. Now Kyle's right, and 15 minutes is a little slow for soup and salad, but I'll tell you, when it comes to who's the bigger dick to wait staff, I hand my crown to you.
I disagree. And in my defense, here's the thing. I don't know about the times. It's hard to say. Was it 17 minutes? Was it 12 minutes in Chicago? The things that stuck out to me as difference makers in the Chicago altercation was their waiter was underaged and he couldn't open up the thing with the alcohol. And I think they have a thing where like all the drinks anyway have to come out together. And so he's like, well, I can't bring Kyle his root beer until I bring Chiz his real beer. And I can't bring Woody sweet tea without Chiz's, beer in tow as well. So I think it took him a while to get a key for that. It took him too long, I'll admit. But when the manager came over and asked if everything was going okay, there was some discussion about shouldn't we have already been served? And what's the fucking problem?
No. I did not curse at the manager. That's a thing.
Oh, get Chiz right now. I got 1,000 says you dropped an F-bomb in front of the manager. Don't even. F-bomb in front of the manager.
I don't know.
Loudly.
Okay,
like
bitch.
What the fuck? Like it was one of those. F-bomb in front of the manager. In my case, the harshest thing I said to her was, don't you work for tips? Like, because I want to tip you well. If you were working hard for me, like fucking let's give you 20 extra. Because right now I'm very sensitive to how quickly my food gets to me. Right?
It's been so fucking long. All right, we've been sitting here so fucking long.
I stand behind all this.
This was 10 minutes late. No more bread. We're hungry. No more bread. We've been sitting here 15 minutes. Nothing. Look at this. It's clear.
This time it's not even
She asked me, which do you want first, your soup or your salad? I said, whichever one you can get to me fastest. Here she comes. Oh, she's in a hurry. She's done.
She's done. He's big talk.
She's done in this establishment. I've got connections way up the Longhorn ladder.
My Russian friends.
I was saying she's like she's done it. She's actually made it here with the food. That's what I was saying. And then I was totally up for like clapping for her as she came.
He was clapping sarcastically as
nobody
she got there.
Okay,
He wanted us all to clap. I didn't follow. I didn't catch on at the
To
time.
join in with my.
I
with my
understand
clapping.
why you were being, kind of bitchy at her, seeing as how you hadn't eaten anything but a chicken that became your friend in the last 5 days. Like
The
that's
best part is Patrick. After like I say all this shit to her and verbatim pretty much what I said that I remember. I know I asked her if she worked for tips, and she didn't say anything, and I was like, 'cause come on, like it's been too long. Like I want work for me here. I was like, work with me here. Let's go. Come on.
Did you do that? You patronizing ass?
No, he didn't. He was like, "You work for tips now, don't you?"
No,
it was much closer to my version than
Brooklyn time.
"Come on, same team, let's do this." No,
that's totally what I was going for. You don't have this part recorded, so
so I'll tell the story any way I want to. No, it was like, "You work for tips, don't you?" Like it was clearly a threat.
yeah, okay, yeah. That's the second time you said it is closer, but it wasn't super pronounced. I was trying not to be a super dick. But anyway, I was being rude to her on purpose. I really was, if I'm being honest. And that was the point of it. She needed to be rude to. Like I needed to like, hey, wake up. You're fucking up and nobody's going to call you out on it. But like, I'm paying you right now. Like, and part of our decision is how much above what you normally get you deserve. So like, don't you work for tips? Like, come on. Like we're hungry. Take care of us. That's
Do you know why Kyle was so much harsher on this woman who got us drinks and bread immediately? And then took fit because she was ugly and she was fat.
Oh, bring a I would have made that cute girl cry if she treated us like that. I don't care. I certainly was like.
He was nicer to the handsome dude than he was that fat chick.
Was there a handsome?
There was a handsome dude at the Chicago place. Yeah, the pizza guy.
Oh, the pizza guy. Like I don't think I really talked to him at all. Like he brought my shit in a timely-ish fashion. I felt like I didn't feel like I wasn't all that angry about the drinks. I don't think I was that thirsty.
Maybe
but
that's
we
the
were
difference.
hungry and I wanted my shit. And so after she left, like Patrick said something like, in London, I'd be considered very rude. I was like, it's considered very rude here too. That's why. I was like, I was aiming for very rude when I said that to that lady, and like what?
Bullseye. Congratulations.
Yeah, it sounds like you were kind of being a dick, like just based on the. It's not unwarranted dickery.
And I asked the group, to my credit, I feel like I was like, hey, look, guys, this is upsetting me. I'm about to melt down here. Is this warranted? And even Woody, everybody was like, yeah, Yeah, let her have it. Like, yeah, it's been too much. It's been too, and especially Chiz. Like, as you can imagine, Chiz was just as motivated as I was to get some food in himself. So, like, he was like, yeah, bitch, they brought me my. He wants that coffee. It's his drug of choice, you know? Like, he needs caffeine.
See if they have cigarettes.
At a restaurant.
So how much did you tip her eventually?
7%.
Yeah. I tipped
Too
her like
much.
the polite minimum, I would say, which was like $9.80 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you were really me, you could have been like, well, like I tipped her $50, so she didn't be complaining. But,
And here's one thing to note. Just think about this before you think I was too big of a dick. After I had that little talk with her, the service quality improved 500%.
It did.
If I
Even
had
the
to,
manager came along like, hey, you guys okay? You happy? And Kyle's like, she told on me.
Yeah, she totally went back there and got this little chipper little manager bitch to come out and tell us. Nah, I was not.
Human onion? Yeah.
I was like, and she caught me off guard. Like, I'm just eating and she's there. Hi. And I'm what the fuck? What are you like? I was like, hi. Like, what are you doing here? Like, I like, don't kick me out before I can finish.
Yeah. Give me 3 minutes, then berate me. You know?
The worst part about, like, after I ate that, I ate a New York strip steak, a big bowl of potato soup, which was undercooked, by the way. My soup was awful, and I didn't complain, didn't say a word. That salad, which wasn't very good either, but I ate all of it too. And that appetizer, I like 2 hours later, I went to Five Guys and got a large bacon cheeseburger with 2 patties and a huge Cajun fry, and ate all that shit.
Why Longhorn? Why did you guys, as my list of steakhouses goes, Longhorn is damn near the bottom, if not the bottom. Like, there has to be somewhere else.
Outback didn't open until 4 p.m.
Yeah, it was noon. We didn't have a lot of choices.
Yeah, it was the nicest thing we could come up with, that where we didn't have to like drive out of everyone's way, because I was gonna, after dinner, Woody had to go one way and I had to go the other.
Oh.
And we totally did not go in the direct. Like, we were driving there. It was like a 15-minute drive, and I'm like, oh, you know, wouldn't it be great if we were like headed towards home? It's 85 south. No, we were headed towards Florida.
Yeah, but the thing was, like if we didn't do that, then we would have had to drive 45 minutes the way that you actually needed to go, and that meant that I had to go 45 and then 45 back, and then I still had stuff to do. It just that's the closest steakhouse, like, by far, without going back to J. Peters.
Well, it sounds like you were a little bit of an asshole, maybe overzealous, a little overzealous with getting your steak, but you were hungry. And another thing, you shouldn't have been saying things in earshot that were shitty to her before your food served. That's something that I like never do unless I plan on like walking out.
I know, right?
They will fuck with your food.
I didn't really fuck with your food.
I've had enough friends in restaurants to know that they will fuck with your food. Like,
I didn't care.
Never
there was nothing she could do to my food that was going to make it unappetizing for me. And actually, it wasn't that good to begin with. She got there and I didn't care for my steak, but I ate every bit.
Yeah, mine wasn't quite right either.
No, yours wasn't cooked right.
Yeah.
Neither was mine.
But I was just in a more chipper mood. If I was
seems
a
like
waiter,
a super
too,
annoying job.
As a waiter, you and I are on the same team. We're on team good service, big tip.
Yes.
The man over there, the man wants you to have less salsa. But me, I will hook you the fuck up with salsa. I'll fill this whole table with salsa.
You know, anything that I can get you for free, I'm getting it for you.
Mm-hmm.
As your server, anything that I can be like, hey, listen, this is going to be between us. Because honestly, it's not like I'm a company man with points in the company. I want my money now.
Yeah.
So if I'm giving away a free burrito and that's extra $5 for me, that's a free burrito for you. You know,
the kind of employee every company wants. Giving away freebies at the lowest level for their own gain.
I ever eat with an ex-server? They're always big tippers and they know what the heck they're doing. You know, we were running outside all day long, right? We're hot, sweaty, whatever. We go to the restaurant. It's not a classy joint. And he's like, we're going to want 2 drinks right here. Save us both time. And yeah, I love it. Right? So they're rolling in 2 drinks. They're keeping them coming. Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
You know what I hate? Those stories. And I don't know if this is one of those like big talking myths that people say, or if people actually do this, because it's so bafflingly rude to me that people would. Have you ever talked to someone who's like, oh yeah, what I do or what my dad or whoever does is at the beginning of the meal, they'll put $20 on the table in singles. And then if they do something bad, they start taking money off of it.
Move.
And I'm like, dude, this is, first of all, I never want to meet your dad now. Your dad sounds like a cunt. Your dad is, let me tell you, if no one's ever told you, your dad's a fucking cunt. He's a douchebag for doing that.
And a bully, by the way. A fucking bully.
Did I not see it on Seinfeld? Hell,
George went back and took money George had made a lot of money on like a stock deal or something like that, and he was like, it's on me. He's like paying for like coffee and a bagel or something like that, but then he takes 2 steps away and he's like, I'm not that generous, and he goes back and like takes like $2 back off the table.
And they catch him. Yeah, but that's something I can't
that's
believe people
Kramer got
actually
caught in the calzone episode. No. George got caught taking the tip back out of the tip jar in the calzone episode because the guy didn't see him put the tip in, and he figures if he didn't see me put the tip in, then what's the fucking point? Because he was trying to buy some goodwill.
That interesting question. I just had that conversation with my brother the other day. We were at Starbucks, and I took a little bit to put the tip in the jar. He was like, let's go, man. I go, hold on a second. He goes, let's go, man. And I waited until they turned around and put the tip in the jar. And he's like, what are you doing? I go, well, they got to see the tip going. And he said, why? And I said, well, when I obviously tip everybody because I had an ex-server. But then when I come back in and I tip well, I would like what comes with being known as being a good tipper.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make you bad. You're regularly going somewhere. You need to make sure they know, it's Josh. I'll take care of him a little quicker because he gives a fuck.
Yes, if I'm going to go out of my way to tip well, I would like the benefits with what comes with that.
Yeah,
and
one thing I do,
just throw in handfuls of change loudly,
so they don't know. Ding, 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 ding.
And then what I do is I also go here.
I think of myself as a professional.
I pick up the whole jar and shake it out.
I know that some places, like if you buy something with your card, like if you buy the meal with your card and you write in the tip, like they're not getting that whole tip in some places. Like they'll get fucked over. And I can't do that. Never mind.
You cannot, my friend.
Yeah, I can't continue with that thing. What I was going to say, I caught myself, Chiz. Don't worry. I'll write why I can't continue.
Do all of you got it?
Yeah.
But the whole tipping thing,
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had to have? Maybe I'm very fortunate. The friends I have, that every one of them I know of, I don't check their checks, but I assume they're all tipping. Have you ever had to have a conversation with someone about tipping, like almost Reservoir Dogs style?
My dad.
Mr. Pink, throw a buck in.
I don't believe in it.
With my dad, because they just came from a generation where, and I told them, I go, look, all of your kids have been servers. So just so you know, this is not okay. What you're leaving isn't okay. And I don't want to embarrass you, but I will leave money on top of your money if you don't tip better. And that is not an indictment on you.
And that should embarrass you.
And it was a total indictment on him. But how low is he tipping?
Oh, for me, 15% isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who worked in a restaurant, 15%, I'm tipping out 5% at least. So at the most, I'm only getting 10% anyways, which isn't enough. So 20% is like the bare minimum. You have to be such a bad server for me to give you less than 20%. Like you have to actively do a fucking shitty job for me.
So let me tell you a quick story about the instance where I gave 0 tip.
Yes, I've got one.
She got her drink order wrong 3 times, and this was a very simple drink order. I kept having to be like, no, a sweet tea. Just the tea over. I see it. It's over there. I could go get it. She gets it wrong 3 times. First, it's a Coke, then it's unsweet tea, then it doesn't have ice. And I was like, why didn't you put the ice in it? It's iced tea. And the whole time we're thinking,
it's got 2 ingredients, and they're both in the name.
And the whole time, my girlfriend and I, we smell something, and it's to the point where we're both checking our shoes to see if we stepped in dog shit. We're having that conversation. Like I think some people would be like embarrassed if they smelled a smell. Like, oh, is it me? Is it her? But I've been dating this girl for a year. I'm like, hey, you smell that? She's like, yes. I was like, did we step in shit? And we're both checking our shoes. And the waitress comes back with the drink order wrong for the second time. And I'm like, it's her. When she goes back to fix it for the third time, she got 0 tip. There was something else. The appetizers didn't come out for like 30 minutes. The appetizer came out and it was like lukewarm. And then like 2 minutes later, the main came out and she got no tip. She smelled like poop. I'm pretty sure she had shat herself.
Yeah, by the way, you don't have to go past that.
Yeah,
Like that's
She
that's
didn't
the zero
deserve a tip.
I
She
wasn't
pooped
on
herself.
your team
Yeah.
until the poop thing came
Yes.
to fruition. The one time I can remember, I didn't give a 0 tip. I gave a tiny tip, like a dime.
That's the
Like a
worst. That's the
spiteful
like
slap
a
in the
dime.
face.
I didn't want her to think it was an accident.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was mad. So I was young. This is a long time ago. Call me 24. And I don't like a really noisy environment or whatever. So I was like, hey, can we sit here? And she said no. Like she won't sit us there. It was a part of the restaurant that was closed. And it's like lunchtime. Like I don't know why, but she won't sit us there. And I was like, are you sure? Like we're not messy or anything. We don't have kids. And she's like, no, you can't sit there. That part's closed. So she sits us in this loud, crowded area and the place is booming. And then they sat the people after us there. And it was like,
Oh.
you motherfucker. Like you
Yeah.
just straight up eyeballed me as not worthy, I think.
Can I chip in?
You whore.
Because I know a little bit about serving. Did your waitress who told you no, was she serving the people in the special area? Because the way it works in restaurants is like each waitress has like a zone.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't remember if it was the same
And
waitress.
that way
in that area.
that's why they're sat equally. That way one person doesn't get 8 tables and somebody else gets none. But I used to tell because I ran a place in Seattle, I used to tell the hostess, like, hey, try to sit them there. But if they want to sit somewhere else, fucking sit them somewhere else. Like, I'm not going to have somebody be mad right off the bat because you're not sitting them in an open booth that they want to sit in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
if we're not packed and whatever, yeah. That's what I always told them, because you're fucking whoever is waiting on that table right off the bat, because already they're mad, you know?
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever given 0 was when I went to a place with someone a few years ago, and I ordered like a burger and some fucking whatever side, and 20 minutes go by. We're one of the only 3 tables there, and then this lady comes back, sees our empty waters, and is like, "I'm so sorry, we don't have the onion straws to put on that burger or the barbecue sauce. Would you like to pick something else?" And I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't say this, but I'm like, it's been fucking 20 minutes. Like, I could have picked something else a long time ago. I'm not that connected to this item. Were you back there? Like, we got to like whip up some onion straws. He wants this. Like, no, it'll be fine. And so I'm like, just the chicken Caesar salad then. Like, at this point, I'm like, something quick that'll come out about the same time as like the other person's meal. And she goes back another 20, 25 minutes. Like, at this point, we're getting like irate, where it's like, it's been 45 minutes. I've had 1 cup of water. There's 3 people in this restaurant because we're eating lunch at like 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. And then she comes back, and she, with the food, gives a messed up version to the other person there, and gives me a fucking like Cobb salad or shit. Like, not even the same salad. I'm like, yeah, there's no chicken on here, and this isn't a Caesar salad. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, we ran out of chicken, so I thought this was like the best we could do. It's like, you're like this. Do you have food here, ma'am?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You never want to hear somebody be like, "That's the best we can do." I have 2 major.
And she still charged me for fries that she didn't bring out.
Yeah, no, I can't
0.
do that.
That's not okay.
I have 2 major restaurant pet peeves. One is at like a coffee shop, and one is at a restaurant. The coffee shop pet peeve, which drives me crazy, like so nuts, when they put the lid on. Don't put your hand on the fucking mouth hole. Somehow put it on without your hand. It's not so hard. It's only 1/8 of the lid. Why is your hand touching my mouth hole?
These kids are college grads.
Yeah.
I in women's studies.
You know, that doesn't bother me.
That doesn't bother you?
So here's the thing. I have this theory about, I don't get sick very often, like almost never. It's been maybe 2 years since I've been sick. And I think it's because, like for one thing, I wash my hands fairly regularly. But I'm not worried if like I drop some food on the floor and I eat it. I'm not worried about if like somebody has like put their hand on the top of the thing. Like, I have this idea that you should be getting a good amount of germs into your body all the time.
There's a woman in Mexico I want you to meet.
Oh, now that's a virus. That's a virus. I don't want that. I'm okay with bacteria and microbes, but no viral Mexican death stew coming out of a stripper twat.
2 fingers of death?
Man,
oh my God.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like I need to lick some public restroom
be a little dirtier
doorknob.
Speaking
When you
of
said that she wasn't writing stuff down, that made me think of another thing that I think everybody hates. When your fucking waitress or waiter comes up to a table of 5 and they start standing there with their hands behind their back, like, are you ready to be impressed? Are you ready to be able to impressed? It's like, no, fucking Rain Man, I want you to pull that pad out and I want you to fucking write no mayonnaise on my goddamn burger. Otherwise, you're going to fuck it up.
Excuse me, Nadine, but if you really had like some Rain Man skills, I promise you wouldn't be asking what kind of eggs I wanted for at Denny's.
Yeah, you're not solving calculus problems on the special day board every morning.
No, no, like maybe you are good at Sudoku over there, like in your break, but like you're still getting my eggs. So just write it down. I hate that too. I don't mind it if they get it right, but when they fuck it up, it drives me crazy.
I'm a little lighter. When they get it right, I'm genuinely impressed. I went to a restaurant. It was at my buddy's graduation party from college. There were maybe 22 people at this table, and this one person memorized all of it. And I'm like, I asked her, I was like, how do you remember all this? Do you make mistakes? And she's like, I hardly ever make mistakes. Please stop talking to me. I'm trying to remember.
As she's walking away, you should have been like chicken Caesar salad, bacon cheeseburger,
Fried eggs,
linguine.
double fries, 8 medium Cokes, 3. Just really, she's just like,
but she got it all right, and it was hugely impressive. And they even put all the plates in front of the right people.
You know what she was doing?
No.
She had a tape recorder in her pocket. I bet she got a big tip.
Oh man, that's brilliant.
That's sneaky. Yeah, it could be. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But,
That's what I do. If I ever had to be a waiter, I would totally pull that number. I would do that. You could even make a bet with them. You could like have the tape recorder in your pocket and be like, all right, I bet I get everybody. I'll make a bet with you guys. You know, either 30% tip or the meal's free if I get anything wrong. That'd be great.
You know, it would be more annoying than someone not writing my order down, trying to wager a bet while I'm ordering.
No, I'd like that. I like a waiter who can bring a little entertainment to the mix.
I don't like it because it gets me. I want to have a good night out, and it gets me like nerve wracked. I just sit there the whole time now thinking something's going to be fucked up. She's going to fuck something up. Just write the shit down. I don't find it impressive, and then I really don't like it when they leave, come back, and go. You were the steak, right? Okay, and then they walk away. It's like if you wrote it down, you wouldn't have to ask me again. I've seen them try to pull that fucking Jedi shit, walk away, and then come back. So,
you had the steak and you had the linguine, and then they try and
you should be
like they're just refreshing their brain.
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. You tell me. Also, tell me what side I ordered because I forgot. Like,
I got. See, okay. I sometimes evaluate people by how nice they are to people who are quote unquote like below them, right? Like, if you walk into an office building interviewing for a managerial job and you're not cool to the receptionist, then you're probably not cool, right? If you're doing well and you're not cool to the waiter, then you should be. But I wasn't. It was like a couple months ago. And Jackie and I were arguing. We don't argue a ton. I really like Jackie. It's my wife. And I think we were buying a house and it was kind of stressful and we were working it all out. And this lady kept checking on us fucking constantly. Like I don't. To me, fucking combine your trips. All right, combine them. Don't come back like, all right, you fill my iced tea, and then like 15 seconds later, are you doing okay? And then fill Jackie's drink, and then and like it was clear that we were trying to work something out over lunch. And at one point, I didn't finish serious, but I gave her this look that could fucking kill, and was like, "Are you serious?" And she left and stopped waiting on us for this. She got like her boss to get us the check, and it really wasn't anything I said. It was just like, "Are you serious?" But the fact is, like, at least to look at me, I had flipped my lid. That's
not nearly as bad as what I did to that girl at Outback, though.
What was that again?
All right, so was your story already? I feel like I interrupted.
It's about wrapped up. Other than like Jackie doesn't want to eat there anymore. She's embarrassed that I was so evil.
So we go to Outback Steakhouse, and I happened to be really hungry. I don't think I'd eaten that day, so like I was hungry. I wanted the food. I want the bread. I want that brown bread. I'm just anything. I want some food.
Mhm.
And so they seat us pretty quickly, but there aren't many tables left, so they seat us near the bar. So I can see the bartender, I can see the bar, I can see the people at the bar, at my table. 17 minutes went by, and no one came and talked to me. 15 minutes in, like, she went and asked the hostess for menus so that we would have a menu. So about 18 and a half minutes after I had been sitting there, I saw this blonde. I see this blonde waitress walk by, and she makes eye contact and then quickly like breaks it. I could tell she knew that there was something going on here, and I was like, "Hey, you, come here! I got you!" And I'm like, "I got one." I'm like, "I got one." So I get over there, and I'm like, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, haven't you been? Is no one waiting on you guys?" And I'm like, "You know, no one's been waiting on us. I've been seeing you guys over there in the corner." I was like, she's like, no. I'm like, "No, you're all just lazy. You're lazy. You're a lazy waitress, and you didn't want to take my table." She's like, no. I was like, "I want to talk to your manager. I want to talk to your manager." And like she started to cry a little, and she ran away, and the manager came out, and then this like super waitress who was like 40 years old like swooped in and took her table, and I gave her like a $20 tip, but they were literally refusing to wait on us, and I felt like I felt like I was being discriminated against. It was so ridiculous. Like I was like, this must be like how African Americans used to feel sometimes when they'd walk in somewhere and they just wouldn't fucking wait on them. They literally aren't getting me services. And like I'm looking around. I'm like, did I shit my pants? Like did I sit and shit at some point? Is that why?
It's like, just like the civil rights movement, Kyle. I bet a lot of black patrons had to say, "Hey, you're going to serve me. Actually, I want to talk to your manager. Your manager will care what I have to say."
Obviously, I had a next step that those individuals wouldn't have had. But in that moment, I feel like I felt the same rage and helplessness, perhaps, that they felt. Mostly just the rage because I was so goddamn hungry. So like I made her cry a little. I didn't mean to make her cry. She really should toughen up if she's going to be in the service industry with that kind of attitude anyway, if I'm being honest. But it turned out to be a nice night because we got the other waitress and she was cool. But that pissed me off to no end. And that's happened to me multiple times where I'll go in somewhere and they just won't fucking wait on me. And it really pisses me off. And I make scenes every time. Because the nature of that kind of thing is that I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, if they just come in a minute, then it'll be cool. I bet they'll apologize. Yeah, they'll apologize. Somebody will come and say they're sorry. They'll give you something free. Probably they'll give you some free drinks. It'll be cool. But no, and the anger builds and it builds and it builds until I fucking yell at somebody to fucking TGIF Fridays and look like an asshole to everybody.
That's pretty cool.
I hope these aren't fake memories that have been somehow I have. But you know,
you've been
we'll have to ask Blade.
I've been MK Ultra'd like this whole Seattle trip. Woody was there. I could have sworn.
Woody was there.
I just remember, like, I have this whole
I just
memory.
love the finality of I've never been to Seattle.
I haven't been there. Actually, I can like add other details. I had never met White Boy 7th Street, and after Kyle got back, he told me what he was like off camera.
Yeah. Wow. I have this whole memory of being like, Woody's really behaving himself around these cowgirls. You know, Woody's being very respectful. I have that in my head that you were like that, that you were a little bit like, oh, I don't know about being in here with these cowgirls. I don't know about this. And, you know, I think I'll step over it. I have that memory.
Even
somehow.
in Kyle's fake memory, you're
that
very
happened in
polite and
Vermont.
respectable.
Yeah, even in my fake memory, Woody is a real nice, gentlemanly kind of fella. I don't know.
Nothing like the way you treated that Outback lady.
Wow. He smacked her so hard.
What if that was another implanted memory? And we can see like a video of it when he's like, you know, I don't mean to cause a fuss, but I did want, I wanted sugar-free tea. You know, is that
we did go to an Outback together once, but I don't think I was mean to any waitress.
It was at the J.R. Peters in Livonia, Georgia, that you.
Well, that's not even true. That's not even true. Yeah. No, at that point, the whole like Woody's mean to waitresses meme was like alive and
Patrick,
well and kicking. And
Patrick, I don't know if you still watch the show. I enjoyed spending that week with you out in the wilderness, but you were there and you saw what went down. I'm not sure if
it wasn't mean at all. I was even like on good behavior because I knew that they were like looking for like me to do anything that would slight this waitress.
Let me know when you're finished.
I'm done.
So anyway, Patrick, you were there with us on that day, on that evening. I'm not even going to go to Chiz because I feel like maybe somebody will feel like maybe you don't want to believe Chiz for whatever reason. But Patrick is what do you call that when
British.
someone is unaffiliated? He is an unaffiliated third party. That's what I'm looking for.
That's true. I would like to hear Patrick's take on this.
Patrick, I would love to hear your take on Woody versus the Waitress in Livonia, Georgia, at I believe it's called J.R. Peters. It's a little steak restaurant that exists there. I'd love to hear your take. I won't give mine. I won't give it. I won't give it because I just admitted that clearly my memories can be tainted. However, this is not one of those tainted memories. This is crystal clear. I remember exactly what was said. I'm pretty sure it's on video somewhere on your channel, nonetheless. And I would love to hear from you, Patrick. If someone can reach out to Patrick, I don't know if he watches the show regularly anymore or whatever. First of all, buddy, enjoyed your spending time with you. I don't know if I ever told you. Great having you on that survival trip. You were a real trooper. It was a crazy time. Thank you very much. But most of all, I really want to hear your take on what transpired that evening.
Yeah, me
I'd love
too.
to hear it. I'd love to hear it. And I'll abide by whatever he says.
That works for me too. I probably won't. I'm going to go with mine because of what he says. But yeah, I feel like I remember it really well. I wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. They were just
snapped on her.
That is so not true at all.
Like a Slim Jim.
Oh no. Here's what I was on the phone when she came to I was talking to Jackie. And I was like standing on, I wasn't by the table, but it was time to order. So I sort of, Jackie, hold on a second, didn't give her attention, ordered steak. And I was like, I like whatever, 6-ounce filet. And then there was no hit it back. There was no nothing. And I asked, I swear as nicely as I could, I was like, are there any questions that come with that? Like sides, temperature, whatever. And I don't know. Then I told her my sides and that was it. There was no conflict. There's no story. There's no thing that happened. And Kyle's laughing, but Kyle's memory is flawed.
I just admitted that I have indeed had at least one flawed memory. I thought you were on that trip. I really did. I don't know who is filling in your role in that trip, but there's an individual. But on this trip, I remember it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Phone was to your ear.
Yeah.
And you gave her that order like the way you described telling a barber how you want a haircut. You were like, and I want to say that she wanted to know how you wanted it cooked or something like that. And you were like, any questions?
No, no. Why would I even do that? There's no motivation for that.
How would you like your steak cooked? Listen, cunt.
That doesn't even make sense.
Lots of Dude, I have been bring this topic up and just sit back for
I've
15
seen it.
minutes.
Yeah, I look. I'll fully admit when I'm rude to a waitress. After that survival trip, we had a terrible waitress, and I was having a fucking meltdown. And it was because I'd spent 5 days eating very little food, dreaming about the steak that was to come. And the whole meal, there'll be a salad, and there'll be blue cheese dressing, and it'll be like a sweet tea because I want some sugar, and I want fucking, this steak rare, and I'm going to put steak sauce on it to make it even richer. And she was fucking up, and I was very rude to her. Fully admit it.
Here's how I
was
remember
doing it
that
on purpose.
The waitress was
Woody
very
is
nice.
Unintentionally rude.
The waitress was really nice, and I was like, cool. I understood it, and I get it. If on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 is normal delivery time, right? She was a little slower. She was like a 3. Now she was not mean or abusive or whatever. It was just we ordered drinks and 4 minutes have gone by or whatever.
The appetizers were 25 minutes late, and she was unattractive.
Don't say no more.
I don't think they were that slow.
Let me explain. This was a Texas Longhorns, I believe, in Commerce, Georgia.
Something like that,
in case you're curious. Full of attractive waitresses. I mean, 95% of the waitresses in this place, you were like, oh, she's a 7+. Somewhere between a 7 and an 8. These are all nice looking, fit young ladies between the age of 20 and fucking 24. And here came this hog to serve us our slop. And she failed miserably at everything she did. I felt like I wasn't getting refills. Our appetizers were so late, and we ordered appetizers.
I don't remember her being unattractive either.
I remember that crystal clear. I remember remarking on that.
I'm envisioning meaty lips.
I remember being like, look at all the hot ladies in here. Look at every other waitress but ours. We got the single pig in the sty. Every other woman here is not just attractive, but fucking hot. Every one of these waitresses, I wish that she were giving me things. I want to talk to these ladies. And we got this hog of a cunt over here, unable to perform. I was this close to doing the most disrespectful, horrible thing I can think of doing, and that was pushing my drink off the table onto the floor and spilling it on purpose, ice, glass, straw, and full liquid, and being like, just to force her to have to show back up. It had been so long. I was so close. I was so
and I thought the whole thing was hilarious. I was patient. I didn't have any problems. Kyle's melting the freak out and
losing it.
And I thought it was
sometimes it's worth it having bad service if you're with someone who's having a shit fit about it, because then you get to watch it. And what
I'm
would be
sure
the
I was
funniest
entertaining as hell.
The funniest
difference. What I'm trying to
British
explain
guy
here is, I'll tell you when I'm being an asshole.
See, he's
Woody
doing the
won't
John
even know.
Jones thing, right? Like, people think I'm an asshole. I'll tell you, Kobe Covington, that's an asshole, right? Like he's trying to add credibility to him calling me an asshole by admitting that he's been one.
Perfect. I'm not perfect.
I can
Listen,
do the same
I
thing.
put up with my fair share of shit, but when that fat cunt came over there and took too long to bring my drink there, I was about to have my Secret Service killer.
This thing was all born from that dude in Chicago who took it was literally like 40 minutes to get drinks.
What an asshole.
Right? And I had a soda, but I guess other people had alcohol, and he wasn't allowed to get the alcohol, so he just held back everybody's drinks until he could get someone else. And I don't know why it takes so long to get someone to serve alcohol at a bar. I guess they mailed away for it or something. But that was a situation where I don't know if I
don't believe me, folks.
If I said anything quotable, but there was attitude behind it.
Don't believe Chiz.
We'll see what Patrick says.
Believe Patrick.
At this point, that legend had grown to the waiter I was mean to in Chicago. And it was this big thing. So we get to Georgia and they're just like waiting for it. Ooh, let's see what Woody's going to do. And he turned, I was like, like a 6-ounce sirloin or whatever. And she's not hitting it back. I'm like, are there any questions that go with that? Because I don't know if I can get back on the phone or not. And he turns it into this snappy, mean thing.
Questions?
Why would I even do that?
I don't know. We were all shocked.
Do you have any questions, man?
Patrick didn't know if he should keep recording.
I always bring my loaded gun into Long John stuff.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who's gaslighting us. Yeah, this is gonna be great.
I promise you. I promise you. Look. I'll abide by whatever Patrick says.
Not me. I'm sure I'm right. I'm not doing it.
I'll abide by what Patrick says because he's the third witness who has one point of view to the one witness who has the other. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Chiz will co-sign all of this. No, Chiz isn't listening right now. Just add him right now in the chat below. What happened at J.R. Peters in Livonia? You'll get exactly what I said.
Well, but we need a neutral party.
And we're going to get one. We're going to get one in Patrick. And I'll bet cash money. I'll bet Bitcoins and gold and GP coins. These are all Tarkov items, by the way. This is a little joke for me. He's going to corroborate my side.
I think you will too. Yeah.
And look, I don't.
Not because it's true, but because he was all excited about it on when he was there.
So
they were all acting like I was insane, and I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. And I'm talking to Jackie, and she's like, I don't know why.
What could this mean, Woody?
Jackie was on the phone, and she's like, you didn't say or do anything either. Why are they all like?
It's
because
shut up, bitch.
The legend
Listen
had
to my story.
The legend had become this meme at the time, and they were hard scoping me, looking for anything to act like I was being bad. That's where it was by the time we went there.
Okay.
This is a fun topic to bring up when I want to just chill for 15 minutes.
I'm not trying to point any fingers. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just see it like I see it. I saw it like I saw it. I know what happened.
I saw you reenact it. Any questions? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all.
Snap. There was this
questions.
There was this abruptness, this rudeness, and she was like, ah! She recoiled, and That's
Any
a joke.
questions?
That's me joking. You know, she didn't recoil. She didn't look like she was afraid, but she was like, yeah, you know, like everybody.
There was
at
a
the table.
weird like social thing that happened there because I ordered whatever 6-inch sirloin. Maybe I gave medium rare, and then there was no like you couldn't even tell if she had heard me. You know, it just sort of emptied into this like vacuum. And that's when I was like, are there any like
The
follow-up
rage
questions?
started building.
No, I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad. I just didn't know if I was done ordering. And you guys can imagine, put yourself in this situation. Like when you order, if you order a Big Mac, then you know where that ends, right? I want a Big Mac, I want a drink, I want a small fry. And like, you know, you've given your order. If you order a steak and you say, I want a steak and I want it, you know, medium rare, and then they don't have like, then it just ends there.
And what would you like your side to be? Is usually the question.
Sure. Or what 6 or 8 ounce, right? Might be another question they could ask. Or like, you know, I just don't know if I'm done ordering or not. And I asked her, if there were any questions or any follow-up questions or something like that. But I didn't yell at her. I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't angry. Like I was having a fine day. Like everything was normal and okay. It's just that I put my order for a steak in and there's usually some sort of follow-up, like hit it back. And, you know, like it's, that's how it goes. And I swear, what's happening, this is true, people. I was mean to a waiter in Chicago, and it turned into this like legend of Woody the staff abuser. And
It's not limited to these 2 events.
it is.
I don't know what other events we're talking.
I don't know. I'm afraid there's another one out there, though.
Now when he's like, yes, it is. I'm almost. I'm. You know what?
Yes, it is. I'm like 30% sure. That's just those 2.
Now you got a Hillary Clinton your way through this. You're like, I do not recall that specifically.
Right? It's gonna not testify at all.
Yeah, just not testify. I do not recall. I do not recall.
You mean like with a cloth?
Like when you do this stuff. Does it make you want to be selective about who you're king making? You know, like there's some like, all right, we're going to give 60 grand to a homeless guy. Can we find one that rescued some babies from a fire?
Okay, well, we don't do so. Last time we did a homeless video, we spent $100,000 and on supplies and we gave it to a homeless shelter. We don't give money straight to homeless people, or if we do, it's like in the form of gift cards for food, so they can't like buy drugs or anything.
That would be like assisted suicide for heroin if you just
exactly. I did it one time. I gave a homeless guy 10 grand, and then afterwards, like everyone's like, you shouldn't do that. And then I did a lot of research, and I was like, oh yeah, I really shouldn't do that. And so ever since then, like we're very careful who we give large sums of money to.
Oh, yeah, that's
was it your goal from the start to be like? Was this model your goal from the start, or did it evolve into the helping people and being kind of philanthropic?
Yeah. Well, from the start, it's kind of hard because I started when I was 12. So, like, back then, I was literally just beating my meat and playing Minecraft. I didn't know what I was doing. But
Nothing's changed for me.
Actually, beating his meat is where the Count to a Million challenge was born.
There's the time where I'm counting to 100,000, and I just, like, snooze off. But it does look like I'm just beating my meat. Like I just doze off. The way my arms moving. And people are like, Jimmy starts to masturbate at blah, blah, blah time in. I'm like, I swear, I did not beat my meat this entire video. But people are like, right here, your arm's moving up and down. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just but no, it's
how old are you now? Just real quick.
21.
Oh, I'm a fucking loser.
Great, you're just in time to get spoiled by alcohol.
I'm never gonna drink. I don't really care for it.
Nice.
I really do want to be like incredibly successful. I mean, I want to make lots of money and help lots of people, and I just feel like it's not a good habit to have.
You're probably correct.
Yeah, you're right.
But
put all that booze money into.
They all give me shit when I say stuff like that. It's not fair.
Shut up, Woody. Go buy some more alcohol.
See?
You've already lived your life. You can't help shit. Just go buy alcohol and drink with us. All right.
Yeah, Woody, you're on the final lap.
It's downhill from you.
When I go to YouTube parties, that's where I get a lot of shit for. People are like, have a beer. I'm like, I'll pass, and I'll hand it to one of my friends. I'm like, but like, do people like take it as an offense when I don't drink?
No. Here's what you say. Here's what you say. Oh, I can't. I'm driving.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No, nobody will question you.
Even though I Uber to 90% of these things.
Did they know? I have a lot of sober friends in the music industry. They drink seltzer water.
or carbonated water, and then they just put a lime in there, and nobody ever goes like,
and some
"Hey,
ice,
dude, why aren't you?
Ice,
Why aren't you
and
drinking?
Drink from a straw.
They taught us that in
Just
high
give an
school.
excuse that doesn't make sense. So they're like, want a beer? And it's like, oh no, I'm gay.
It works for Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. It seems like you got your head on straight.
What'd you say?
Didn't you ask me, like, did I have this idea from the start, or?
Yes. Like, did it start out this way, like with the philanthropic leanings, or did it evolve?
Yeah. So that was just, I brought that back up because that's something that is interesting to me. Is that I had kind of had that idea for years, but I literally just never had money, and I had kept telling myself, like, I'm going to do one viral video, and I'm going to take the money from that, and I'm going to do another one, and then that money and do another one, and I'm just going to create like a
Like a waterfall
cycle, where I just keep taking the money and reinvest it. And actually, like, the first time I ever got a brand deal, it was $10,000, and I put it on that video, and then I took the money from that video and I put it on the next one, and it actually worked out exactly as I had planned. And and they just kept going bigger and bigger, and I just kept giving away all the money. If like I made money, I was like annoyed. Like I wanted to just reinvest every single penny I made.
I want you to pocket one of these, man. MrBeast.
I've been listening to Woody complain about how you're not making enough money for like 2 hours now. I just please tell him you're not going to go broke in a well.
I just want good things for him. He's doing good things for other people.
Well, it's funny because there were multiple times I almost went broke. I was like, oh boy. I gotta pay my employees tomorrow.
Like, I went to the roulette table, I put it on red, and I just kept doubling it and doubling it and doubling it, and it keeps working out. I'm like, bro, just pocket one, pocket a couple. Like, because you're a good guy. I just know you through your videos. I want good things for you, so pocket some.
Well,
see, I think I got a good idea for a video. $20,000 giveaway to the poorest person you're currently on a podcast with.
Dude, how often does that happen? Like, how often do people say, oh, you're a kingmaker? I wouldn't mind being a king.
Yeah, so by kingmaker, do you mean like a guy who gives away money?
Yeah. Like, you can change lives with some of these. Like you gave 10 grand to a waitress. I bet that made a big impact.
Yeah, I haven't calculated it in a long time, but I mean, we've given away millions of dollars to random people. I mean, there's so many people we give them money to at this point.
Do you have to tip big
at, like, for fun and
all the time? Like when you go and just like get regular food and you're not making a video, you're like, okay, 40%.
What, and tips?
Yeah.
I'd usually just tip $100 just for fun, because I have had literally anytime I just do like a normal tip in the past, waiters will be like, oh, MrBeast is a liar, MrBeast is a fake. Or like one time a fan paid for my meal, so I didn't get my bill. And then that waitress is going off on me on Twitter, like, MrBeast stiffed me, because apparently the person who paid for my meal didn't leave a tip. I never got a bill. So I literally, like, I don't carry cash. So I like had no way of tipping her. And I literally just replied to her. I was like, someone paid for my meal. I literally didn't even get a chance to tip. What do you want from me, woman? And my reply got like 50,000 likes, and then she privated her Twitter. But like, yeah.
You're so powerful. Like, I don't know that you know.
So I just do $100 tips, and I'm just like, all right, no one's flaming me online anymore. That's like 5 times what the meal costs. Be happy.
Like, it seems like you really genuinely enjoy, seeing people happy and seeing their lives change and giving that away. Is there one instance of that throughout your career that sticks out more than the most, that like just really gave you that groundswell of emotion, or like, oh, this feels better than any of the rest?
Not really. Like, they're all me just kind of chasing that high of like throwing a large sum of money at someone and just being like, how do they react? But I mean, like, I don't know. For me, it's kind of like, I make money because I want to have fun. I want to enjoy it. And like, that's kind of what I enjoy. Like,
you're so much a better person than me. I've thought about this before. And if I had that level of wealth and doing shit, like, I've already like realized I would go through town in a limo with a moonroof, and I would have a potato gun that I would fill with rolls of cash, and I would fire it at unsuspecting homeless people. And they'd be pissed. They'd be pissed at first when like the wad of cash hit them in the chest and knocks the wind out. But then I'm just like, surprise! And they've got like
a bully-based charity. I like it.
It's a bully-based charity. And it's a prank channel. And you know what?
It's
And
a
this
social
term so
experiment.
loosely used, I could call it a social experiment.
Beast, has there ever been a bad choice? Have you ever given someone like, I don't know, $1,000 and they're like, you know, what a dick, or like you just wished you hadn't? They were
I'm sorry,
undeserving?
guys. I didn't know it was that, David Duke.
Well, it's like I told you before when I gave the homeless guy 10
Oh,
grand.
yeah,
Like, that could have gone way worse. Like, not that like it went bad, but you know what I mean? Like something could have happened to him. And that was pretty reckless because that was the first one I ever did. And then, I don't know. I mean, most of the time it's like I'll tip a pizza guy like a few $1,000s and they'll like come back the next day crying. Like, you're like, I can get off work today and spend it with my daughter because of this. Like, and it's people are incredibly emotional, even when like on some of the smaller ones I've done. So I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be overcritical. Like, yeah, a waiter's giving us subpar service, but I'm like, well, we're here to tip $5,000, and like, I don't feel like going to a different restaurant, but it's like it's no big deal,
Yeah.
That should be a policy, though. You're like, I'm giving away a lot of money, but service better be spectacular.
I mean, it's like anything you do, somebody has a bad day. Like serving people is the hardest shit in the world. Everybody's, every customer is different. So like having a baseline of like, I'm going to tip 20% regardless of how bad they do, because it may just be a bad day. They're not a bad person. Like sunk cost fallacy. If you already ate the meal, you're not going to get up.
Well, we're not talking about 20%. We're talking about 20,
right.
200,000.
20 grand. Yeah.
I'm with Taylor on this one. Like, if I was gonna tip $5,000, but my drink was empty the whole time, what about second breakfast?
Maybe we should just knock $1,000 off for that.
It's just so you only got $4,000 because of
It's like that old.
You guys are fucked up.
Because the ketchup was empty.
You could have been richer if you just filled my goddamn water quicker.
Yeah,
you dumb bitch.
It's funny. But some of the stuff we're working on now is we're working on setting up an actual homeless shelter that I run.
Awesome.
That's been a bigger project, and then doing a video where we trying to plant like 20 million trees. Like, we're trying to like keep scaling it up and going bigger and bigger. So it's interesting. It'll be cool to see, or not cool, but just interesting to see where like my peak is, like, because we're just literally going bigger and bigger every single month. And like, I'm like, at some point, like, I don't think I'm going to just be able to keep going bigger,
It tastes bad. I don't like it. So the more sugar and syrup or whatever you got to put in there. Woody and I were in LA, and I told the waitress, I was like, I want the fruitiest drink you can come up with. I was like, I want it to be sweet and delicious. I was like, whatever Elton John would order. I was like, hook me up. And she must have taken offense to some of that. So, because she brought me back this drink full of seeds and pulp with like 8 straws in it and all this shit on top. It was a joke drink, and I think she must have charged me $20 for it or something like that.
Was there even any booze in it? Like, but you can't taste
yes,
the thing.
way too much.
Asshole.
Way too much. It was like 8 ounces of vodka, like 2 ounces of strawberry liqueur, and like 14 straws, 15 kinds of garnish, and then a handful of seeds, just strawberry seeds that she sprinkled in. It was so awful.
That
she got no tip.
Terrible.
It's the 100% food version of a drink.
Lots of chia seeds in there.
She was a real cunt. I felt like she got no tip. I felt like she did that on purpose. Really made me
Kyle
angry.
was actually angry with her. Like he felt like he's like, I don't know what I want exactly, but give me something fruity, something that tastes good, sweet. Elton John would like it. Like he's giving her a vibe, and she came back with some nasty seed-based bullshit.
Did you drink it?
That's like, I'm actually really pleased that you said that, Kyle. You said you gave her no tip, and like my girlfriend and I go back and forth on this all the time, right? For me, it's like I tip well in general. I mean, that's what you do in general. If you have decent service, you tip well, right?
Yeah.
If you get really good service, you tip above and beyond, right?
Yep.
If you get really shit service, in my opinion, you tip low or not at all. My girlfriend is like of the mindset that like, no matter what they do, you're giving them 10 or 15% minimum. It's too much of an insult to give them 0. And I'm like, how the fuck are you going to let them get away with? I mean, like, the part of your night out, like, I don't, for like, if you're going out for a night out, you're deliberately spending the time and effort to go somewhere for like a really nice meal or something. Part of the experience is a service, right? It doesn't have to be the best thing ever, but you have to have a waiter or waitress that doesn't detract from it, right? Like,
I had a waitress who smelled like shit once, like human shit. So much like shit did she
Taco
smell
Bell
that.
waitress?
No. This was much finer established. I believe we were at a Ruby Tuesdays.
And your Sunday finest.
When she stepped away, I looked on the floor for dog shit. I looked at my own shoes for dog shit, and I made my girlfriend do the same. I was like, our waitress smells like shit. I was like, she definitely does. And she was like, yeah. And like my girlfriend's literally like turning her head, kind of like trying not to be rude, but like trying not to be very close to the waitress when she comes. She got zero. She also got my drink order wrong 3 times back to back to back. Like the 4th attempt, she got it right. And then I didn't trust it. I had to switch drinks.
Did the
drink
waitress
was sweet tea.
notice that your girlfriend was scooting to the side? Like, did
No. She's oblivious. Yeah. She literally just had awful hygiene. I don't know. I was at Applebee's or Olive Garden the other night, and she brought me my refill like long before I needed it. Just brought a new cup of Coke, and what else did she do? I don't know. She was always lickety split with the cheese grinder, and always coming back and asking if I needed something, and refilled the breadsticks like 3 times, and she gave me more Parmesan sauce. So I tipped her like 35% or something like that. But like for real. But if the service is bad, they get 0. They get 0, or they'll even get a joke tip. Like I'll even just a dime or something.
I've
something
tipped like
so
6 cents before just to make it an even withdrawal from my checking account.
That's kind of funny. I'll just do the math and do like $2.06 or something like that if I want to hit it even. But I usually tip well. But if it's bad service, it's a bad tip, and if it's really bad service, it's 0 tip. And I will freak out on wait staff, and I will curse. I will make a scene. I was pretty ready to throw that drink in the floor last time we were at that restaurant, and I was literally going to make a scene, because we just had gotten back from the survival trip. We hadn't eaten very much at all in days. We were all very hungry, and I'd been thinking about this meal. I knew what I wanted. And I impressed upon her that we needed this food quickly. And there was just a myriad of issues. Like, she kept fucking up, and things took way too long. And I was about to have a meltdown.
Yeah, and I mean,
I wasn't too hard.
So much in that too, right? Even if like they're not that great a waitress, but if they're really giving it their fucking best and they're not like actively sabotaging it, but when you get like the fucking like lip from it too, like, and they start getting cheeky with you and they're fucking up, you're like, screw this. This is just not worth it.
I honestly don't remember. What did I say to the waitress after the survival trip? I really was kind of out of it. I was so like tired from that thing and sleepy and hungry. Like, I don't even remember what I said.
I don't remember for sure either.
You got the video?
That's what I'm looking for. I know that I recorded it at the time.
It was awful. I was so mad. And I was mad about a bunch of stuff. It was like Chiz's coffee hadn't been refilled, and my drink hadn't been refilled, and the appetizers were like gone, and had already been late.
And I mean, the opposite is so like incredible too. Like, I've had date nights just be made by like the service at like an event. Like,
Completely fed up with the service. It's been so fucking long. All right, we've been sitting here so fucking long. Chiz doesn't have his coffee. No refills. This was 10 minutes late. No more bread. We're hungry. No more bread. We've been sitting here 15 minutes. Nothing. Look at this. It's clear.
This time it's not even
She
me.
asked me, which do you want first, your soup or your salad? I said, whichever one you can get to me fastest. Here she comes. Oh, she's in a hurry. She's done.
Awesome.
Good, she'll be glad for it.
She's done. She's done. You know what I did once?
I was saying she's done it. She's actually done it because she was coming with the food finally.
I put one of my own hairs in a entree once to get it for free because the service was so bad.
Awesome.
And it worked. Yeah.
That's a good one. I definitely made a scene one night at Outback because I felt like the waitresses were purposefully like not taking our table because it was like between 2 zones. Like, it wasn't quite the bar and it wasn't quite a table. It was like this high top thing off to the side. And I felt like I could see them looking at us like where all the servers were. And I could definitely get a vibe that like, one person was like, well, that's not technically my section. And the other person was like, well, I'm only covering that section for April because she's not here. So that can't be mine. And like, they just didn't come over for 15 minutes. And finally I flagged one chick down. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Has no one waited on you? I was like, they haven't. You've been standing over there talking about me for about 15 minutes. I saw you. And before she could say anything, I was like, I want the manager. and she kind of teared up a little. She's like, like right as she was leaving, and I like showed no mercy. Like from the girl was like, I think she's crying. I was like, good. Maybe they'll drag her out here and let us watch her cry. Like that'd be nice. That might make me feel better. I get really upset with the poor service because I feel like it's just blatant disrespect for no reason.
How about best service? Yeah, do you have any equivalent stories of best service?
Totally.
I have one really bad one before we go to good service, though.
Right.
A waitress when I was like 16. Me and a bunch of my friends were Buffalo Wild Wings. Actually, we went to go watch like a UFC fight or something there. And
did they put it on the big screen for you? Because they didn't. Fuck them. Seriously,
they did put it on the big screen, and we ordered a ridiculous amount. Like each of us ordered like 20 wings. And there's like 6 of us there. So this is the biggest order at the restaurant right now. And the lady was clearly a shitty waitress, kind of new. She had someone like shadowing her for a sec. And she went off. An hour later, she comes back with this huge plate. So we're already pissed that it took so long. But like we could only see the angle up towards the plate. We're like, oh, thank God. Thank God it's here. She brings it out in front, starts placing it all down. And all of us just like immediately look at each other like, oh, our faces were downcast. We're like, these are all boneless wings. These are all just chicken tenders with sauce on them. And she's like, yeah, 120 boneless wings. And he's like, no, the one thing about the wing, there's only one adjective. And we did not say it. Not boneless, just wings. And so the manager came over, gave us like half off, and then fired her.
Really?
Because apparently she had done like these huge money wasting order mistakes for a while, like of just like, oh, you want 6 burgers? Here's a bunch of fucking French dips, fuck you. So yeah,
kind of objectively, that one makes me feel a little sad because it's like shit. She probably was trying. She was just useless. That seems like so much better to me than the people who are like actively being a piece of shit towards you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that makes me want to just like strike back. Is the people who are like deliberately doing shit to you. Like, that would be the one I'd love to like watch her get fired on the spot, and I'd be like, like throwing tips to the other waitresses or something, just particularly, to see that girl suffer. But I can see that one being painful.
We had a waitress at Lone Star and Apex. I get Longhorn and Lone Star mixed up, but whatever's there.
So where's Apex to you? Because that means something different to me.
Oh, it's in North Carolina, outside Raleigh and Cary.
Okay, so it's like a town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and go on.
So the research we've done, some of the research, the team that I worked with at NIU, at Northern Illinois University, APEX stands for the Arizona Power Exchange, which is a BDSM club in Arizona. So every time you say APEX, I'm like, what is he talking about? So anyways, so I'm good to know now. So, go on.
Very different. Yeah.
It's not really much of a story. She was just awesome. She was quick. She was on top of it. And she got to know what we liked. I like the bread, So if there were 2 people, they used to serve half a loaf. And if there's 4 people, they'd serve a whole loaf. When I came there with just Jackie, she gave us a whole loaf because she knew that's what I liked. And, I order a couple times. I get the same thing all the time. After a while, she's like, hey, do you want this? Like, saying
nice
she knew our order, but she also checked to make sure that was still what we wanted. And it was really cool. She always kept the drinks filled up. She was great. I don't know how to. I don't want to be a douchebag. I tipped her well every time, and then there was one time we went before Christmas where I tipped triple digits.
Wow, I immediately knock off like 2% off my tip if it's a group of more than 5 people there and the person doesn't write down the orders. If they stand there and they hands behind their back and they just memorize it for you, I think that is number one disrespectful, showing that you're not taking the time to get my order 100% right, because I will fucking guarantee that something will be wrong. Oh, well, they just brought out blue cheese instead of ranch. No, you know what? That's a fucking mistake. Because if you had written it down, ranch or blue cheese, then you would have known that. Like I just think that it's shitty for them not to be taking consideration about everything you're saying. Oh, no pickles on my burger. Could you write that down? Oh no, it's all up here. Is it? I'd feel a lot fucking better if you would write it down.
I don't mind up until the point where they mess it up, and then I'm like, well, maybe if you'd written it down. Dude, I've said that before. I definitely have said like, well, maybe if you'd written some of that down.
The place that's trying to be higher end, they're going to do that, right? They're going to tell their servers not to write shit down. So on some level, like I hate to punish the server for like a decision on the management level.
I've had conversations with the server about him like not writing it down before, because we'd have like maybe six of us are at a Morton's steakhouse, and it's like a couple of courses
imagine,
or whatever.
Your hand on on his shoulder, like uncomfortably, like, look, I need to really tell you something about writing some shit down here now.
I got paper. Like,
no, we've been like, so you memorize all that, and he'd be like, yeah. I was like, is it hard? Sometimes. I was like, you think you got ours down? He's like, oh yeah, I got yours for sure. I was like, all right, well, you better, because it's $100 steak. Don't fuck it up.
We've told the story of me being rude to a very slow, bad waiter a couple of times, and now I'm sensitive to this idea that I'm like not nice to wait staff, because in my heart of heart, I believe I'm lovely to them. But the thing is, I was at REI this week buying long underwear and a few other items, some jeans for the campsite, and not jeans, pants. And the guy was slow. But before he helped me, there was a delivery guy there, and he goes, "Oh, I see you have a stamp." And you know how to stamp something. Check, right? Yeah. That's how a stamp works.
Easy peasy.
Not this fuck. This fuck takes the man's clipboard, puts it down on a flat surface, takes the stamp, holds it, wiggles. Next page. Holds it, wiggles. There's 4 pages of this. It takes him like over a minute to stamp these 4 pages. Yeah, right? You've seen the Indian guy does
like a notary?
It was a delivery confirmation.
They're trying to save money on ink. Like they've got no ink on there. They're trying to...
I don't know what he's doing, but he's just very slow and deliberate in the sorts of things that he does. Okay. And I have to wait for this to end before he checks me out. I do so patiently. And then it's my turn to get, rang up and check out, etc. at REI. Cool. This is long underwear, and we're putting it in a plastic bag. It takes him like 20, 30 seconds to take the magnetic, like anti-theft thing off. I don't know why. It should take 2 seconds, but it's taking 20 because he's doing it like it's some sort of performance art where he puts it in there and makes a whole show out of it. And then
did you just say like you want to be a good guy to these people for some reason? Then you start that story with, I like to think I have a heart of gold, and then you're shitting all over this guy like every small minutia of it.
Dude, he's taking so fucking long.
He's thinking it, no, not saying it.
And then he's folding my long underwear. Folding it, right? So he clears off the flat space, and then he carefully wraps it, folds it in thirds, carefully puts it into a fucking plastic grocery bag. Like it stays folded. If there's any reason for this. and then he does the top, same sort of deal. And I see the jeans coming up and the fucking water purifier tablets or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm looking to get out of here. Can you just put the underwear in a bag?
I'm looking to get
out of here. Jesus.
Dude, it's like 4 minutes. Each pair of long underwear. The bottoms of the minute, the pants are a minute. How can this take so long? It took a minute to stamp.
What he said, excuse me, wage slave.
Attention, boy. Boy.
Did you snap at him? Get over here.
Dude, it was the worst. And he did speed up a little with the pants. And afterwards, he stopped putting on such a performance of working the cash register. But afterwards, I was like, oh, man, did I make it true? Did I make it true that I'm mean to wage slaves?
It's fine to be rude to them as long as there aren't witnesses.
Well,
that's how this works.
That's how this works.
It's just that now. Look, I fully admit that after our survival trip, when I was real hungry and went to that Longhorn Steakhouse, I was very rude to that dumb cunt who was serving us sweet tea. Okay, she needs a new fucking line of works. What I think. All right, you can't get me my drink in a time. Look, anyway, it's neither here nor there. I was rude.
This guy was like Flash from Zootopia working at the DMV. He was so goddamn slow.
You know the name?
I get that reference
of the sloth from Zootopia.
Yeah,
why?
I'm a genius.
Kids.
No, I'm gonna
you have kids, or you're a furry.
My story. I'll tell it the way I want to.
I'm rude to those people sometimes. Look, sometimes people need someone to be rude to them. When I was rude to that dumb cunt at the dentist the other day, and I take it back. I was not rude to her. All I said was like,
just so you know, this isn't a dentist's office. You people clean teeth. There's no one back there, I didn't curse, that knows how to perform a root canal, even though I paid $250 just to make an appointment for emergency dentistry. You lured me back there and charged me another $250 for x-rays that I thought were gonna, so that you could perform the fucking
root canal.
And then you go, wow, you need a root canal, turns out. And I'm like, I booked the appointment and marked root canal. Like I wrote root canal on the thing. I know that. They're like, well, we should probably book someone that can do one. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Have you scheduled a root canal yet?
By the way, that's Tend Dentistry in Buckhead, Atlanta. TEND.
Oh no.
TEND. They robbed me of my monies. They did exactly what I just described. They clean teeth there. They cannot perform. I need an endodontist, apparently, and that's a rare fucking craft. It turns out that no one there can do.
Wait, I just checked, Kyle. It's 45 degrees in Atlanta.
Right now, I wasn't complaining. What I was saying was it's going to be 14 tonight and raining.
Those DoorDash people are going to be suffering.
Oh, it's going to be terrible for them.
It's a tip 20%.
I'm going to stop. I've stopped tipping DoorDash people because I feel like I'm doing my part to let the economy and businesses adjust. They should be paying a living wage to those people. So we need to stop tipping so that that'll adjust itself. I'm doing my part. Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Dude,
you need to stand by your principles.
I'm kidding, but I saw a Reddit video the other day where people didn't tip, and this driver pulls up and she's like, "No tip," and they're like, "Well, it's no fucking tip, really." And slings their food across their fucking yard. It's like, God damn.
I mean, this is America. You should leave a tip always.
Why?
Because it's our culture. You got to help them out.
That is not our culture at all. Our culture. Look, I grew up tipping people and seeing people get tipped. My father was always a very generous tipper. Still is. I guess.
Start talking about your dad as past tense.
Oh my God, did something tragic happen in the last
week? When
he stopped tipping.
He's done. But if they provide adequate service, that is not a tip. You don't get a tip for one. It's like Steve Buscemi said it best in that fucking Reservoir
Dogs.
If you go above and beyond, you get a tip. A tip is a bonus. It is a cherry on top. If it otherwise, include it in the goddamn price.
Leave a dollar on the table.
Look, I'll give you my fucking dollar because you're paying for my food, but you're not going to change my mind about this shit. Tiniest fucking violin and all that shit. I agree with
prompt service, then you tip them.
Well, now we've moved to a restaurant rather than a DoorDash employee who drove to fucking Zaxby's or something.
Let me come to the table here and meet you halfway because I'm 100% in favor of tipping for delivery people, waiters, waitresses, that shit. The whole if I go to pick up chicken wings and I drive to the store to pick it up, I will not tip then. I drove there. I'm picking up a thing. There's the tip line on it. But it's I'm going to tip $5.
What am I tipping you?
What am I tipping? You just what? So it's that in that.
That's very common here.
They're getting greedy.
That's very foreign to me.
So here's what they do. You'll go into a kebab place. Starbucks is a good example. I don't go there because I make good coffee. But I go to this pita place and it's one of those places where they shave that big hunk of meat and everything. Ooh. Anyway, they just hand you your food and then they flip an iPad around. And it's you want to tip 20%, 30%, or 45%. And I'm like, I'm not tipping you any fucking thing, dude. What did you just do? You didn't even make the goddamn food. He's the one that carved it off the thing. That dude put it in the box. And this is the guy who told me it was ready. You didn't do shit. Fuck you. You're getting nothing.
I've always heard have you ever on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares or something? A lot of those restaurants just put it into the restaurant or something. It doesn't go to one guy. Is that a thing?
That's illegal.
That happens, but it's considered stealing in bad form.
It's against the law. Yeah. What you can't take waitresses tips, and that usually becomes a fiasco when they do that shit.
Yeah,
and
I think they got in trouble for it.
It may vary from state to state, but the thing about waitresses is they don't get paid real minimum wage for some reason. Usually, they're getting $2 an hour or $3 an hour or maybe even less, and because they're expected to make so much on tips. And if I go to a diner, I'm thinking of a diner specifically where like she's coming back and forth with coffee because, man, you're getting tipped well. Like you could easily get a $15, $20 tip on scrambled eggs and bacon or something if you've just been kind and like, you know, I'm probably there because I'm up too goddamn early.
Keeping your
Like, you're
coffee
nice
full.
to me. Yeah, you keep the coffee coming. Like you could easily get a $15 or $20 tip, but I'm not going to tip that goddamn pizza guy who's not even a real pizza guy. All right,
What does
like
that
back in the
mean?
day, there was a guy who his job.
Are you
was
saying
pizza
he's not
delivery.
Italian enough? Are you being
Whoa,
racist?
whoa, what are you talking about here?
Baloney, baloney's not Italian enough.
He's calling us pizza people. That's our word.
I think tipping here feels like I think how it should be, you know, like when I give someone like a good tip, like I don't know what the equivalent would be. Like, so I always tip the girl that does my nails and the girl that does my eyelashes. And that's like that's met with like, whoa, are you sure? You don't have to like for not that much. Like if it costs like $50, I'll do like take $3.20, you know, like it's wild.
Nice. So like I would totally be that fucking goober ass American who went to Europe and like was tipping because I would like, I'm so trained at restaurants that is what you do to a server. Like honestly, if a server is absolute dog shit, I'm like, you bitch, fucking 15%. So like really? It has to be. I've not tipped, I think, twice in my life, and one of the times was because they literally did not bring me the food I ordered. They didn't like tell me stuff wasn't available. They like took my order and then came back 20 minutes later and said, we don't actually have that. Like
you've got to adjust that. You've got to adjust that because that's way too much. Look,
if they're decent, at least minimum 20%. If they're decent.
I read something the other day. Someone was pointing out that because every time we see a spider, we fucking stomp it out. We're making spiders become sneakier. So we're forcing spiders to become sneakier and more reclusive. The same thing's true with lazy waitresses. If you tip a dumb, shitty waitress who smells bad or something, she's just gonna go on being a waitress, thinking she can cut it in this world and not adjust her like hygiene and her like I don't know, like her skills as a waitress. Right, you're gonna have stinky,
Kyle's
waitress.
Darwinism, eugenics, waitress tipping policy. This is good.
I had a waitress that I think
logically it makes sense.
I had a waitress. I once had a waitress. I probably told this story before, but it's been so long ago that I can barely even remember. But I remember we were at an Outback Steakhouse, a fine restaurant, and our waitress had either stepped in shit or shat herself. 100%.
Hopefully the former.
I don't know. It smelled like dog shit, and that was the conversation my girlfriend and I were having. Well, I was like, that smells like dog shit to me. I don't think it's people poop.
That's the best kind of shit you could hope for in that situation.
And my girlfriend was like, but it's so strong. It's like it's coming out of her, not just off of her shoes. And I'm like, maybe she eats dog food. Maybe she eats dog food and she shit herself.
What would you recommend, ma'am? A big bowl of Alpo. This is what I enjoy.
But like on top of that, I remember it was poor service. I've had poor service at an Outback twice where I've made a scene.
At Outback Steakhouse, no less.
like maybe I'm white trash, but I used to live really close to an Outback, and I like their steak.
Maybe I'm white trash, but I used to live in a trailer park.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like y'all are making fun of my Outback Steakhouse trips, but that
I'm not with Taylor on that.
Fine steak,
dude. I think Outback and Red Lobster are both the bomb, and they get ripped on for no reason.
I don't know why they get ripped on. They're acceptable.
Red Lobster gets ripped on justifiably. They don't.
I don't know who
meat in
you
their
fucking
crabs.
Millionaires and billionaires are out there that every night you're hitting up a different 5-star restaurant and spending $300 a plate.
Red Lobster is not cheap. They charge just as much for the fucking crab, and you break it open, and sometimes it's like, was there a ghost crab living here? Where's the meat?
There is.
Got to mine already.
That bread is priceless.
And the bread does.
My dad did that.
The bread does all the heavy lifting.
my dad's food showed up. The waitress came, said, "How's everything look?" He says, "Looks like somebody got to mine already."
Your dad and my grandpa would get along so well because my grandpa is like a Southern Missouri farmer, and like when he goes out to eat, like he will make clear what he thinks, not in a rude way, just in like a matter of fact country fella. And this woman came out at this. We went to a steakhouse a few years ago, and it was an expensive ass steakhouse. And he ordered a meatloaf from this really nice steakhouse we were going to because he just likes it. And she brought it out and gave it to him. He had like a couple bites, and she came out later and was like, "How is everything?" Like picking up all of our finished trays and like seeing his not eating hardly. And he's like, "Shit, I'd rather have a dip of skull than what you just gave me." As he was putting skull in, and I'm like, damn, like I know he's telling the truth because he's not a picky man. He was eating fucking pig feet in the 30s or whatever the fuck.
I went
in the 30s. Yeah, in the 20s. He was born in 1906. He's 116.
I went to Outback once, so I had that time where the waitress smelled like poop, and it was also bad service. And I talked to a manager about her. I said, look, I don't want to embarrass her. I lowered my voice. I was like, she smells really bad. And I bet you know that, and maybe you can't do anything about it, but it's repulsive to me. I was like, I'm not going to eat now. I was like, my waitress smells like poo, sir. And like went through that whole thing with him. That I wasn't all that mad about because it seemed like somehow or another they had hired a homeless lady and they didn't know it until it was too late. But then another time I went there and I sat next to the bar and nobody wanted to wait on me. The lady gave me my menu and sent me to the table, like the hostess. And then I saw the waitress because like I could see through the bar into the back area. I could see them like look at us, my lady friend and I, and then like say something to one another and then sort of go their separate ways, but not towards me. And a long time went by, 18, 19 minutes, something like that went by.
A long time. You're so
and they haven't. I don't have a drink. I haven't spoken to anybody. I'm just sitting there with this goddamn menu. Like, I don't know what they serve at Outback Steakhouse. Oh, is there a new blooming onion? Like, get the fuck out of here. So eventually I'm like piping mad. And I'm talking to her. I'm trying to get her to be like, to slow me down. I'm like, this is bullshit. She's like, this is bullshit. I'm like, so now she's given me like permission to go off now, right? And I'm just like, that. So the next time they walk by, I go, because they've been walking past me, like these waitresses, like 3, 4 of them, because that's what it takes to run an Outback, and they have to go past me to get in the kitchen. So she walks past, and I went, "Hey!" She goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here. You didn't see me? I know you saw me because I saw you talk to that redhead over there, point at us, and say something 20 minutes ago." She's like, "Oh, have you not been served?" I was like, "No, I haven't. I want the manager now." She's like, "But a manager? I want the manager!" And she's like, "Woo!" And she goes and like gets the manager, and I like go through a whole thing. He's like, I was like, she doesn't want to wait on me. She has some kind of personal problem with us. I don't know, and I look at my girlfriend, I'm like, do y'all know each other? Like, is there something I don't understand here? Like I know they don't, but I'm saying I'm putting on a little performance for the manager, and I'm just like, she doesn't want to help us. I was like, could you please, sir? We're really hungry. We've been here for 20 minutes, and this lady doesn't want to help us at all. She won't. And she's like, I will. I was like, no, you don't, and no, you can't anymore. And finally, he like assigns us like a new waitress who's like being great. And I tipped her $100 fucking because I hated that woman so fucking much. There's nothing that makes me madder than like I don't know, being disrespected for no reason. Like I'm not asking for a lot. Just bring me my Coke. Just talk to me. Like I didn't like being ignored at an Outback Steakhouse, and I was ready to fight over it. If the manager had not come back and said good things, we could have fought at Outback. It could have gone that like quite.
It wouldn't be the first fight at Outback.
It wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't. It'd be my first fight at an Outback. I haven't been in a fight in so goddamn long.
Hang out. I want to go out to eat with you guys a number of times just to, hopefully a good experience. Also, hopefully a really bad experience. Because
I'm just hoping I yell at a waitress. This is what happens. This is what happens. I'll be completely wonderful to a waitress. And
I refuse.
They're all like, "He's doing it. He's doing it," and I'm not. And I'm nothing but please and thank yous. And
I need Chiz here with me because
I can
this
picture
is what
Woody
happens.
I need Jackie here with me because Jackie was like, I'm on the phone with Jackie. The waitress comes over, but I was on the phone before the waitress got there. It wasn't like I dissed her or something. And and by the way, like I forget why I felt like I had to talk to Jackie at that point. So she's taking people's orders, and I asked. The normal back and forth with the waitress when you order like a steak dinner is like,
Like, all right, I'd like filet, medium rare. And then she's like, okay. And she's looking at me, and I'm like, are there other questions? Like, I'm expecting her to say sides or something like that. And I'm saying this nicely. I'm like, are there any other questions, or just is everything else just like a standard? And she's like, well, what would you like with your sides? I'm like, choices, like, what sides do you have? And they're acting like, Kyle's getting chiz in here. They're acting like I'm awful, and I'm not. And even my wife was on the phone, like, you weren't saying anything rough at all.
She wasn't there. It's not.
She
about
was
what
on
you
the
say,
call.
It's how you say it, not what you say. How you say
She
it.
heard it.
We
it wasn't like
communicate in so many ways. It's the body language. It's it's how the words flow from your mouth. There's a lot of ways to say a lot of things, and I gotta say,
she's literally like.
I just wrote this to Chiz. I said, Woody is arguing that he's not rude to wait staff again. Smiley face. I need you, Chiz. Laugh my ass off. Chiz replies, absolutely rude. # endorsement.
They're all cocksuckers. They just. And this is what happens. I can be the most wonderful angel in the world, and at this point, they're like, he's doing it, and I'm not doing anything. I'm nice. I'm really nice, but they yearn for it to happen so much that no matter what I do, I'm an awful person.
I mean, you just drop a couple F-bombs loudly in a restaurant one night, and everybody's acting like you're a rude guy.
I am going to give the next waiter the shirt off my back, and they'll be like, oh, Woody's trying to steal her tips.
That's what's going to happen if we do, like, go out to eat and there's bad service, is Woody is going to be very tactically polite. Like, he's going to be, like, almost a sickly sweet, like, trying to manipulate, like, oh, thank you so much for refilling that water. Aren't you a dear? Like, being very sweet. No, in front of me to make sure that next time this shit comes up, I take his side. You, Kyle, I know you don't really give that much of a shit on how you're perceived as being rude to people. So if something does go badly, I'm looking forward to seeing you being actually rude.
All right, so here's
what
Chiz just wrote.
Chiz write?
He says, number 1, the fuck to the manager in Chicago, which I just referenced. Number 2, the survival trip, looking at the waitress, taking the order while on the phone with Jackie and going, anything else? With a stern tone. Number 3, so I'm pretty sure he threw a racial slur to one of the staff members from the Huddle House.
What slur was that, Chiz?
Our server at the Huddle House was white.
Our server at that Huddle House didn't act like he was white. He acted like he was a much lazier race. Name one. I don't know. What are the lazy races?
Irish.
What is set up?
He acted like. Do you remember how poor he was? How bad that guy was? That we were like fuming.
He was terrible. Apparently, the person who was supposed to do that job wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they were just like filling in, and we were dealing with the B team, and they were really bad at their jobs.
A janitor made our food. It was fucking awful. Oh, he says, but if you recall leaving the AMC after we watched Chicago, he threw many a slur in the car.
That's not even true. No. Yeah, no, it is.
I don't know about that.
The first racial slur mention, # case closed. Kyle said, what slur? And she just wrote back, that was a joke. But if you recall leaving the AMC after he threw in many slurs in the car. Racial slurs are not like a thing. No, he was talking about those annoying chicks. Oh, Kyle wrote that. I'm a little confused. Yeah, the AMC, is this after the Conor McGregor fight?
I don't know. We've been to
yeah. That's what we saw in Chicago. We watched Conor McGregor fight Mendez.
I thought we watched 2 things there. I don't
Mad
know.
Max, but that was Boston, actually. We went there.
Well, in any case, the truth is, in my opinion.
In any case, the truth is these cocksuckers lie all the time. All the time. None of this is true.
It's interesting that you feel that way, because that means that you really don't see it. And
yeah, I can't out-argue Kyle, but I do have the right on my side. Kyle's the establishment, and he just whips up truths that aren't true. Oh, Kyle's frozen. Oh, they're both frozen, which is odd, because you know how sometimes I lose them both, and I say, oh, this is my fault. My internet went down or something like that. That did not happen. I run a ping constantly. This is just to Google. I'm just double checking. Yeah, that's a Google IP address. I can share it. So this is a ping, and you can see I haven't dropped any packets or anything. That IP address is Google's, so don't think that I've shared anything crazy. But usually it'll say like that the connection dropped or something. I don't know if I can show you one. There, see that timeout? So, but
Chiz also said there is justified dislike and rudeness towards waitstaff, and then there is the unjustified rudeness towards them through tone of voice and body language. Waitstaff asking you if you need anything during a story, that sort of thing.
Taylor, are you there? So
I can only see myself as well.
Can you see? Oh, that was my fault. I had to click on my camera. Taylor probably does too. But the whole layout is a nightmare until he clicks his camera.
I like Josh. It was fun having him on.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, I liked him. I'm glad to hear he's.
So were you two talking to each other that whole time?
Taylor and I?
Yeah.
I maybe got like 4 words out. You know, I was just mocking you a bit more. That's all.
Well, sadly.
I think I was reading what Shiz wrote there or something like that.
Yeah, he says there's justified dislike rudeness toward the staff, and then there's unjustified through tone of voice and body language. See, this is what they do. They get these like well, there's nothing.
They're able to interpret human body language and tone. I don't get it.
They're like, well, I can't quote anything he's ever done wrong, but trust me, if you saw the visual, you'd agree with me that he's the spawn of Satan. And
not the spawn of Satan. Just talk down to them. That's all.
No, that's
how I see it.
I've been there. Yeah, I don't know if anyone in our PKA universe has had jobs as low as me. Has ever lived in low-income housing above drug dealers that beat their wives. Like I started lower than anybody here. I win, and I don't haze waitstaff. I commiserate. I understand.
No, you never purposefully go after them. However,
did you? It is 100% not true, and I don't order diet either.
I thought you were going to say 100% understandable.
No. Yeah. There's nothing even.
They say it to you.
They have this thing, this like running joke, but they insist it's true that I'm bad to waitstaff, and they say it again and again and again. And they just now they're so hypersensitive to it that like. No matter what I say, I could be like, oh, I'll take, I don't know, a steak, medium rare, green beans and potatoes. And they're like, he's at it again. And it's not. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. But it's always that.
At least I can admit it when I am rude to waitstaff. When we got done with our survival trip.
It's because it's on camera. Like, is there any evidence of me ever being rude to waitstaff?
I saw you holding the camera. I didn't give a shit. We were done with our survival.
Jumping in for a defensive Woody here. I've been out to eat with both of you multiple times, and I have never noticed Woody being rude to waitstaff.
It's not actually true.
It's fun to pile on, which is why I do it. But I've never actually noticed him being like spitting Coke on her face. Is that diet? Come back in half an hour. Let me feel if it's sticky.
So what did Kyle do to waitstaff?
All right. So here's what happened. We got done. I berated her. We got done with
her crime was not
trip.
Being the hot waitress.
She was that too. So we all went out into the woods for a week with like virtually no food, and the whole time I'm thinking about the meal that comes at the end of the survival trip after 5 days of being in the woods. So we all get showered up, get back to my house, and then we go to a steakhouse. And yeah, we did get the ugliest waitress in the place. And I'm just gonna throw this out here: if you're the least attractive waitress at a place, you would think you would put a little more effort into it and work for those tips. You would be the most dutiful waitress there. You'd be the one who was rushing to get that refill done, the one who's getting that appetizer out there within 12 minutes, like the card says. But no, she really let us down. Like, all the drink orders were late. We sat there with no refills for a long time. Our bread didn't come out until it was time for the appetizer. The appetizer didn't come out until it was time for the main course. And by the time the main course got there, I was literally giving her applause because it was just ridiculous. She was a cunt. She was bad at her job. She didn't deserve a tip, and I wouldn't have given her one. And that's just how I felt. And I would have called her a cunt to her face. I was ready to throw my drink in the floor and make a scene. It had been so long. I was literally about to throw my drink in the floor and be like, I've made a mess. Someone should come. Because she had been gone for so long, and it was pissing me the fuck off because I was starving.
And I sat next to Kyle. My evaluation of the situation was she was a little slow, but I was cool.
That's not what Woody said at the time. At the time, I was like, am I overreacting here? because I'm getting fucking pissed. I was like, I've been sitting here biting my tongue, but I'm getting pissed and I can't take it. And Woody's like, no, this is no good. It's been too long. And Chiz was agreeing with me too, big time. He was like,
now that's true. Chiz was Kyle's cheerleader. I thought I was, not invalidating his feelings.
You were tepid at best. You were, and then Patrick was with us, our British cameraman, and he was like, in England, that would have been a bit rude. And I was like, I was like, it's fucking rude here too. I meant it.
Remember that? That's a quote.
I was going for rude. like that's what I was going for there. However, Woody can be very curt and dismissive to wait staff without really meaning it. You'll do this thing sometimes. I wish the camera could see me, where you'll kind of like give him this sort of look of incredulity, like you're shocked and surprised that they didn't come to the same conclusion you did, and then you kind of tell them what's up. You're like, no, we want 4 root beers. That's why we said root beers all around. And you kind of give them a look like they're stupid. But the main
not
ones
a real
where
example.
The main ones where I see you do it a lot. The main ones where I've seen you be discourteous to wait staff was the pizzeria.
That one time,
where you shouted the word "fuck."
No, that's not true.
I know you don't think it's true, Woody, but I heard you. You said something about how fucking late things were, or we should have had our fucking drinks by now, or something like that, and it was quite loud. And
it was like 20 minutes, I think, to get our drink, maybe 30. And his excuse was that he needed a bartender to open the beer because he was only 20. Apparently, that's the rule there. The thing is, there was a bartender 15 feet from us the entire 30 minutes. So, and she wasn't doing anything. The place was closing. She was just like wiping the bar. She wasn't busy or anything. And so to me, that was no excuse. You need a bartender? I've been looking at one for 30 minutes now. What's the scoop on the, why does it take that long to get a soda? And
I need very little from my server, but if I feel like I'm being disrespected intentionally in some way, I can really lose my shit in that scenario. And I have felt that way on multiple occasions for some reason. I feel discriminated against sometimes. If I were a black man, I'd be
how
like,
rough it must be.
Seriously, if I were a black man, I'd be looking at my
in Atlanta
and being like, can you believe this racist shit that they're just ignoring me? That literally happened at Outback. Me and a girl are sitting there and we're kind of in that section. It's next to the bar and it's like a 2-person like booth table. Like each of you has like half a booth or something, but you're next to the bar. So you're kind of in a no man's land for the wait staff. And I could literally see them over there arguing over who was going to take our table. Like nobody wanted to take our table. And I like they would accidentally make eye contact with me and then divert their eyes really quickly. And 15 minutes went by and we didn't have menus. And I went to the greeter and I was like, hey, could we get some menus? And she's like, yeah, here, take some of these. And like another 8 minutes went by. And so then when the waitress walked by, I like start waving my arms in the air, like flagging her down like I'm a refugee or something, like, hey. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Has no one waited on you yet? And I was like, they haven't. I've seen you over there with your friends arguing about who was going to take this table for the last 10 minutes. You're the worst waitress ever. I was like, you're not just bad at your job. You're lazy. Go get your manager. And she started to cry a little as she went to get the manager. And it was great. I loved it. Fuck her. I hope she lost her job and her house because of it.
I hope she's threading eyebrows at a food court right now.
Oh, that would be the best, right? I'd make her thread my pubic hair.
I never do anything mean to wait staff ever. Like as far as people who handle my food, I'm too anxious about it. I don't want any fluids ending up in there. The only time I did wasn't even my fault. When I've told that story before, when I had to dine and dash when I was like 15.
Yeah.
I think I've told you guys that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Because my fucking asshole friend said he was paying for dinner and then he changed his mind and left. And so then we had to leave after it was only like a $12 Whiskey River barbecue burger from Red Robin, but still I felt shitty. But yeah, I don't fuck with those people.
Yeah.
Especially not before you get your food.
I'm good 99% of the time. That's also like because I served I waited tables for a very, very long time, like through high school and part of college. But then there are those like when you say like you didn't get something and there is like a bartender right there and you don't know why. Most likely that you got the server that's smoking weed out back. Like
that could have been it. Like, oh, by the way, we were his only customer. The place was, wrapping up or something.
Oh yeah, that guy was just
Because every restaurant usually has at least one guy that's like, that he's like, you're not sure how he hasn't gotten fired yet.
This guy looked more like he was out back doing a protein shake and some squat thrusts or something. This guy was fucking ripped. I was thinking that Woody might want to be careful how he talks to that big boy. I'd hate to.
He was short.
He was
short and fit.
Very fit.
Excuse me, sir. I'm less than enthused about your service thus far. If it's okay with you, I'd like my drink. Like,
nah, he was like 19. Woody could have used his grown-up voice and made that kid cry. 100%. 100%. That's how it goes down. Woody would have started shouting at it. It would have triggered some stuff from his stepdad back in the day, and he'd have squalled like a baby.
But yeah,
that's why he's getting so ripped. His stepdad beat him.
But that said, yeah, you definitely don't want to fuck with the staff because 100% shit does happen to your food.
Yeah, probably so. I don't mind that. At least they're adding some. At least I know my food's getting some serious attention back there. At least
if she's
I know
hot,
they're not going to
request it. Can I get a little spit?
Yeah,
little spit.
Do your worst.
Yeah,
do your worst.
Hey, I noticed I got I don't know, corn here. Can you lick it? Just a little.
Gross.
Oh, it's gross until she licks you directly, and then you're a big fan.
Yeah, I don't want to be licked transitively through my vegetable of choice. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
lick this asparagus, babe. I'm gonna be thinking about that.
You're young. You start off a little vanilla. Time passes, and you wonder, like, hey, what else is out there?
Is that it? When you just get to be your age, you're so jaded by normal sex stuff. It's like, yeah, lick that corn. Lick that corn. Oh yeah, you need a complex carb for what we're about to do.
Yeah, it's you can do the same thing for 20 years and not add to the menu. Come on.
Certainly not.
That makes sense.
Get a little corn licking in. Wow.
What was your did you ever get, or I guess, what was your worst experience waiting tables? Like the worst customer of all time that you had to deal with? Because I'm always curious with people in service industries about this story.
There was this one woman. She didn't catch me on a bad day. She was just the worst. Sent everything back. It was perfectly fine. Complained that she didn't get drinks, but that was because even when we did like 1/3 the ice in the cup that we normally do for sweet tea, like she would just down it, gone, and then she'd get angry as I did like one quick loop that I didn't get her more sweet tea fast enough. And at the Outback that we worked at, you weren't allowed to bring multiple cups for one person. So I couldn't help her other than just stay on top of this lady consuming. And she yelled at me and said the meanest shit ever. So when I say that people fuck with your food, I 100%.
You guarantee it.
I 100% peed in that lady's iced tea. 100%. And at that point in my life, I don't know if I had experienced true happiness until that moment.
She downed it all, huh?
Yes, of course.
How much pee are we talking about?
Were you very strategic about your pee, where you just had to do just.
It was a 1/3 situation, so it's still diluted.
No, but
but you don't understand how much sugar people put in sweet tea in the South.
It's a lot.
That was probably still delicious.
She was like, Southern style. You're like, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. I
thought
do that
trace
stuff.
amounts of pee. But
when I throw a fit at a restaurant, I feel like it's always justified. I feel like I'm not stepping out of line, and I usually wait until I got my food before I raise the stink.
Hold on.
More often than not.
Of course you think it's justified. No one's ever throwing a fit in a restaurant being like, this is unjustified, but you will make my baked potato different. Like, just
now, I'll always ask the person with me. I'll try to get a barometer on this. I'll be like, hey, listen, I'm getting fucking pissed off over here. Am I out of line? And usually the other person will be like, no, I'm fucking steaming too. Where is he? Where is he? We were in Savannah and we walked out of 2 restaurants in a row. We had to go to, it was the 3rd restaurant before we got served because I really felt like we were being racially discriminated by white people. It didn't make any sense. I was like, why are they just not taking care of us? Why aren't they coming over here? They see us. Like, it's like they don't want to deal with us. Maybe the other restaurants told them about me.
There have been times that I've just been a shitty server though. When I left Outback, I worked at Ruby Tuesdays for a while, and they were pretty horrible because instead of like at Outback, they would cap you at 4 tables, like 4 6-tops, because that's a lot. That's a lot of food coming out, and this place didn't. And at one point, I had,
Nothing.
All right. At one point, I had 8 tables, and I completely forgot one table. I didn't realize it was in my section, and these people sat there for 40 minutes.
Fuck.
And they were obviously angry, but I was like, did you not ask anybody? Like, you were the most patient people, but not patient because, like, oh my God, they're the angriest. They were the angriest,
Yeah.
justly. But I don't know. That's like
I
my
know that
only
feeling
bad-
they had too. You know,
That's my only bad one, but it happens.
15 minutes go by and you're like, all right, just stay calm. She'll be here in 5. And then 5 goes by and then 10 goes by. And then you're like, wow, are they doing this on purpose? Like, is someone fucking with me right now? Is Ashton Kutcher in the back? What is this bullshit? You know? And then at some point you're just like, oh, it's just disrespect. I see. This is personal. And it just starts eating at you until like she finally remembers your table and you just unload on her like the guns of the Navarone and insult her like stature or something. I was at the worst waitress I've ever had. At a Ruby Tuesdays with my ex-girlfriend. I order sweet tea. Unsweet tea comes back. I say, I know that I ordered sweet tea. This is unsweet tea. She takes it back and returns with unsweet tea again. And I said,
close.
I said almost. I was like, I wanted sweet tea, you know, with sugar in it. I don't want to have to add anything to it. And this is Ruby Tuesdays in Atlanta, so like they know what sweet tea is. And so she leaves again, and she comes back with sweet tea that tastes so bad that I literally asked her for Coke. I was like, could I get a Coca-Cola? I was like, this is terrible. 3 times you failed on tea. Let's go to Coke. So 4th time around, I now have my beverage. I forgot to mention that she smells so much of shit that we checked our shoes to see if any of us had stepped in dog shit on the way in. I literally looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, honey, I think you might have stepped in something. I was like, did you step in Cooper's poop maybe when you left the house or little dog? And she's like, nah. We both check our shoes. We look around on the floor. There's no dog shit. And then our waitress comes back with the appetizer. And I'm like, oh, that's what the smell is. She literally smelled like poop. And everything was wrong about that night. Like multiple failures where you had to like say, hey, I didn't get my baked potato. Oh, well, we'll just put one in for you. And I'm like, okay, I don't really want a baked potato in half an hour though. It was a real mess, and that's the one I tipped 0. I definitely didn't give her a tip, and my girlfriend made a big deal of that, and I was like, why do you tip someone who smells like poop and messes up your drink order 3 times? Like, how do they get a bonus at the end of the night? Yeah, I feel like we're sending her the wrong message if we reward her for smelling like poop and you know failing completely at her job.
If you tip her, you're tacitly saying it is okay that you served me my food smelling of feces.
Yeah,
and that's not.
And she really did smell like it smelled like poop. It wasn't BO. It wasn't like I've smelled like. I mean, I've been to Walmart before. I've smelled BO.
You know what she needs? One wipe Charlie's.
You need. Oh, she is not a one wipe Charlie. She needs a 18 wipe Sandra. This was so stinky.
She a little one wipe Charlie would have cleaned her right up, and it would have been a whole different experience for her.
Well, maybe more than one of them. They're not magic, but for a normal human being's asshole, one is sufficient.
But I realized that the waiting tables is a really tough job, and when especially just an average job, as long as you keep me, you keep my drink pretty much filled. I usually tip 20 or 30%. But if they stand out, they're an excellent waiter. That guy could get $100 if it's a nice meal or something like that as his tip. I just use the same, that. And there's that end of the bell curve, and on the other end, there's 0. Like it can go down to 0. Like some people think that's not classy or something, but it's not like I'm leaving them a 4-cent tip to rub it in or anything. I'm just saying no, you didn't earn a tip tonight.
I've only tipped 0 once, but it really does have to be horrific. Like almost like they're actively sabotaging your dining experience.
I hand out the 0s probably more readily than you. If I feel like they're just legitimately.
What? I hand out the nickels if I need to. It's been a long time, but like, for example, there's a loud party here, and they seat me next to them, and I'm like, "Hey, can we sit here instead?" And they say no.
Yeah.
Oh, you might have a nickel in your future. You're trending that way already.
This guy, one of my friends, I must have been like 7 or 8. When I would go to dinner or lunch or something, out to lunch with this friend's family, because I was on the hockey team with him, and sometimes they would drive me to games and stuff, and then afterward they'd be like, hey, you guys want to go get whatever food? We get hot chicken wings at Mulligan's or something. Like, yeah. So we go. And this guy, at the beginning of every fucking meal we had with him. I don't know why he had so many ones on him all the time. Looking back, maybe I have a clue now. It's maybe he went to strip clubs, but he would start out every meal with $20 in ones put in the middle of the table.
He did that.
And
he made this move.
He would have $20 in ones put there, and anytime something was less than perfect, he would take $1 back off of his potential tip money. And so it's like, oh, I'm sorry, let me get you a refill. I see that your tea's been empty for a while. All right, well, it looks like we're down to 16, Sandra. Now, even at that age, I was like, what kind of fucking game show is Mr. Johnston running right now? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is not, like, to me, looking at that waiter, like, when you're like 7 and you see someone who's like 18, you're like, that's an adult. But looking back, it's like, no, this guy was tormenting children, just trying to, make enough money to drive their car to school and back. And by taking that's, steaks medium rare, wanted it medium. That's $3 or just some nonsense. That guy was an asshole.
That's a pretty shitty deal.
His son was an asshole too. So apple doesn't fall far. Anyway, I don't know why that came to me all of a sudden.
So when's the primary? It's Saturday maybe? It's the caucus, the Iowa caucus.
Oh, I was like, I don't think it's for a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I love Chicago. That's one of my favorite places to go.
It's a pretty nice town. I haven't been in years, but this would be a good time to go. They do a huge St. Patrick's thing every single year where they turn the river green. I've never gone to it. My brother did last year. I have friends who have gone. They say it's a blast, just insane.
I know somebody's going up there soon. I'm thinking about going with them.
That'd be fun.
Do like a week up there because I just love the food up there. Like Portillo's is really good. The Malnati's, and I love that deep dish pizza. Everybody's like, it's not pizza, it's lasagna. And it's like, all right, well, I like their fucking lasagna. Chill out. Like it's really fucking tasty either way.
It's not that it tastes bad. Like deep dish pizza tastes very good. It's just if you want a hand food for your pizza, it's not the right one.
Definitely not.
And I pizza's a hand food. I like it and I like thinner crust also. I like a higher topping to crust ratio.
I don't have a preference. I just know that it's just a different experience.
I have a lot of strong food preferences.
I remember I just got good memories wrapped around those deep dish pizzas. That might be part of it. Always had a good time when I was up there in Chicago and eating one of them. So usually had some cold beer, or I was stoned, or I was with some like good looking young lady or something like that and having a good time and eating some pizza. One of the times I was with Woody and Joe, I think. We went to the place, and I think man, I can't talk about Woody this way if he's not here to defend himself. but I know there was an issue with the wait staff. like all I know for sure is that somebody got scolded, and I think it might have been warranted, but I wish you were here to refresh my memory. But I just remember there was something about they had on tap, like root beer on tap, and we were like, oh yeah, give us a frosty root beer on tap or something. And they were like, two of us wanted those, and then maybe Joe was just wanted water because maybe he's about to fight. I can't imagine, but his water was like a Fiji, and it was locked in like a mini fridge because the place just had opened up for lunch.
Yeah.
And instead of bringing our root beers to us, he waited 8-10 minutes for a manager with a key to show up to get the Fiji water. And our root beers just sat there losing their head. And I think that's what happened. God, that's what
I would dislike that.
But yeah, I think there was a fucking meltdown over that. But yeah, I love that fucking pizza.
A meltdown over that.
Yeah.
But I have not, just you saying that, I'm picturing in my mind the frosty mug, the great tasting, hopefully artisan or small batch root beer that tastes so good.
And those pizzas are so hot that you want that giant thing of sugary, cold deliciousness to wash it down.
Every once in a while. And it's very rare. Because I don't like regular soda very much. I'm on the Zevia kick for a long, long time.
Remind me to talk about this, by the way. This is new.
What is it?
This is Coca-Cola Starlight.
What does it mean?
Exactly.
What does it mean?
So they have zero sugar and regular. I got the zero sugar. It tastes really fucking good to me. It just says Starlight limited edition. It's flavored like space. Now, to the best of my sommelier abilities, I I'm detecting a lot of vanilla,
Mm-hmm.
some cotton candy, like that like cotton candy, like sweetness kind of thing that it has. What I don't know how to describe it. Cotton
No.
candy, and like I heard somebody else say mint, and I don't agree with that. But lots of vanilla and sweet cotton candiness, and it's really fucking. It's like a dessert. It's really good.
Interesting. Maybe I'll try that. I'm not a big fan of cotton candy. I've never been a cotton candy man. When I would go to fairs, I preferred funnel cakes. It was more substantive, more calories, more sugar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, and cotton candy always hurt my teeth as a kid. Like
yeah, when something is so sweet, it hurts an 8-year-old's teeth. Like that's come on, that should be illegal.